third tip that got cut off yesterday was to have a piece of copper wire with you so that when you're cutting the stone, you can put the wire in from time to time to see if you need any cutting in any area or if you've got the right profile that you want the right amount of wire showing. So today I'm going to be wrapping this stone with this 18 gauge bare copper wire. And in order to figure out how long a wire I need, I take the circumference of the stone and add 8 centimeters. And I've previously cut this piece of copper wire, it's 20 centimeters long.
1.
So the first step is to make the loop that the chain is going to pass through. And in order to do that, I use this tool, put it in the middle of the 3 potential loops, and just create the beginning of a circle, which I'll complete. So I end up with 2 tails. And now I'm going to cut the tail. I've completed the loop, and I've bent the 2 tails down so they're parallel using the edge of the tool to bend either side. And now I'm going to cut the shorter of the 2 tails to the length I want to have between the loop and the top of the stone. So now, with the lower tail pointing down, I'm going to start fitting the wire into the groove and wrapping it around the stone. Now you want to make sure that this loop is going to end up in dead center. So you bring the wire down and make sure that this join is going to be right at the center of the stone. And now I'm simply going to chase the wire around the rest of the perimeter of the stone. So now I've got the wire in the proper position. I've chased it around the stone, and I'm ready to make the first loop of the wire around the 2 tails. And I just try and do it as tightly as possible. Take it around the back and bring it back towards you. And now we're good. So now I'm just going to make a few more loops around the tail. So now I've made my loops, and I'm just going to cut this wire to the appropriate length so that I can tuck it in between the loops at the back of the stone. So now I have to bring the loop up so that it's in the appropriate vertical position. I just do that by very slowly moving the wire up until it reaches the vertical position. So this wire is pretty tight around the stone, but I want to make it a little tighter, make sure it's tight, and I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by turning the loop 90 degrees. Since I'm going to be using that as the cord, as the loop for the cord, I needed to have it in a 90-degree plane, or else I'm going to have to use a jump ring. So I just put my tool down here and very slowly just move the whole thing 90 degrees, and there you go. And now that wire is really tight. So this wire is super tight now, but the orientation isn't quite correct here, so I'll play around with that until I get it perfectly vertical and perfectly in the center in both planes. It's going to end up looking exactly like this one that I did earlier. So that's a really simple way of wire wrapping a stone. It doesn't interfere with the patterning, doesn't interfere with the color. It's super tight, and it's easy to pass a 2mm cord or chain through that loop.